I don't have a ton of questions, but
Okay.
these are more of the important ones.
Okay, sure.
This one I didn't. This one I haven't done.
All right.
All right. So, if you don't mind, I just have questions.
Yep.
This is basically all I need because we want to know, we want to do more investigating. We want to do a freedom of act for certain information, but first I want to ask questions and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
But
Okay.
more or less, we're asking if you guys are receiving funds for masking and complying with the mandate. Is this one of the things?
So the COVID relief funds that have been federally provided ask that you comply with, the CDC requirements.
So if you don't comply, you don't get the funds.
So there's a checkoff box that we have to say that we're complying or not complying. Now, to be honest with you, I have no idea if they're gonna come in and say, oh, this school is not complying, this school, I don't know that, but we do try to provide, we try to follow what the federal government is asking of us that way. Now, that was really clear cut and easy.
Yeah, right.
But when it was the old days, when it was like when
last year in the beginning, yeah.
Now it's a lot murkier for us because we're trying to do.
Well, because they still don't know. They don't know nothing, but yet they act like they know everything.
Right.
And then you ask them the questions, and they do that veer off where it goes into the gray, where it's not a defined answer. It brushes you off to have more questions. You're like, what the hell, So I see the games that they play, and it's pretty political and ridiculous. But they're screwing with parents' choice. It's our children, their health, our health. If we don't want to get sick, we mask them. If we don't want them to get sick, we mask them. That brings me on to one of my other questions. Since COVID and the flu, I mean, it's not just COVID. Last year they couldn't tell the difference between the flu and COVID, so everything was COVID. As you can see the numbers, there was like maybe 10,000 cases in America when there used to be hundreds of thousands. So that is on a national level. They're investigating that what was real COVID deaths and whatnot. But since it's going to be around forever, what's the plans going forward? Are you guys going to do this every year? Is this something that, or are you just doing it for the funds? You know what I mean? Once the funds stop, then the masks stop.
I would say that we're certainly not doing this. It's not about funds. Right now, we are following the recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
We learned more from last year, moving ahead this year, and our programming has changed a bit based on what we learned last year, what worked and what didn't work as well. So we've implemented some of those strategies in the school buildings.
Okay.
And this is just a new thing that we're all dealing with, and we expect that we're going to continue to learn what are the best practices moving ahead. Like the hand hygiene was really important, hand washing and everything last year. So some of those things
We'll just stay.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's always been,
Right,
everybody
it's always good
should
to do.
wash their hands,
yes,
period.
they should.
But
But
back then nobody
having the hygiene
cared.
stations everywhere, we didn't
Yeah.
have that. Nobody had that.
Right.
So it's
Right.
just those are the things that we'll
Right.
try to continue.
Right.
Okay.
Nobody, and honestly, the masking piece is, I don't think there's anybody truly, even if you're pro-masking, it's not like you really want to wear a mask every day.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. Look, my air comes out of here, air comes out of the top and the bottom. This is not an airtight mask. Our eyes are wide open to catch the virus. 30 minutes into me wearing this mask, it goes bad. You can't collect infinite amount of germs in one spot all day.
I was just anecdotally, we've had so much fewer actual illnesses, like sick, just regular colds, flus and stuff. And I do think, for me, I'm like, well, when I go to the grocery store, if it's wicked busy, I throw my mask on because there's a lot of bodies. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't get sick last year.
Right, but that's
I
a
really
choice.
get it.
I mean, we could have done this for the last 120 years, you know?
Absolutely.
That's
Like,
definitely a personal choice, but
totally.
most people are just mad that you took our freedom away. Like, not you guys, but
we get it.
like the committee took our freedom away, and that our governor's taken our freedom away. The state of Maine is already ready to remove that governor when the next vote comes in, you know, but it's, you got to start from somewhere, and we're starting from the bottom, and we're working our way up. Another parent asked if children could drink water in classes, if they're gonna, because some have been um, I'm just gonna say it, bitched at for pulling down their mask and drinking. I mean, some of them are iffy. I've had some parents ask tell me that the principal's been walking around saying if you walk out tomorrow on the mask mandate walkout, it's going statewide, that they're going to get suspended, and that's not true, because I even talked to the principal last night, and he said no, there will not be any extra implications for it. Would just be an unexcused absence from that
Right.
class or
Sure.
whatnot.
Sure.
So, but some of the kids have been telling their parents that, and I want to make sure that the principal's not, I want everybody on the same page, because it seems that there are some some teachers that are not giving breaks, not giving, they're bitching at their kids for drinking water in class. Some are telling them to go out in the quad or whatever, which is what the principal told me.
Yeah.
And I've told some
At
parents
the high
that.
school level,
Right.
they're, because they have that option to be able to step
Yes.
out into that area.
All right.
The
So it's
elementary-
fine. They can pull down,
Yeah,
drink,
the elementary
put it back
level,
on.
Yep,
All right.
And they did
They're
that
allowing
last
it.
year.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
so, the quad area is a nice area.
Yeah.
You know, like, you've seen the pod,
Oh, yeah.
so you've seen the classrooms are off, and then there's a space, so that's the benefit.
Okay, another good one. There's been at least 5 parents that I've talked to that have, since from the beginning of this school year to now, have switched from school to homeschooling. My first question is, when do you guys apply for the funds for those children? And are you telling the state that these children are being now homeschooled and not coming to this district, and are those funds being returned?
It happens so like on a monthly basis, we report our.
You have to report.
Yeah, so the state, and if they're homeschooling.
So they don't just dump the whole 15,000 on you guys, they do it per month?
No, it's all
Right.
monthly, and the other part is like, if parents are homeschooling, they have to notify the district,
Mhm.
and they have to and the state also, we notify the state that those kids are being homeschooled. So it's a whole process, so if folks are choosing to homeschool, they should be notifying us that they're doing that, and then we also notify the state that those kids are no longer.
They can notify the state as well, right?
Yep,
They should
and they
register
should
with
notify the state, yeah.
They have to
But there's
register with the state.
typically what people do is they contact us, and then Jen walks them through the process.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Because a lot of them are just on a whim, nope, done, and they don't want to do the work. Whether they want to do the work or they don't know how to do the work,
Yeah, sure.
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
All right. Have you guys been, are all the teachers on the same page? Have you guys talked to them since this mandate was put back in place about what the rules are, what to tell the children, what to implement now? Because like some are having a hard time. I'm getting different from different teachers. Some are doing what they've always been, which is the right thing, to let them out, blah blah blah. And some have been just hard asses. And I don't know who. I haven't. I would be on my phone all day if I asked everybody every detail, and I can't do that. I got my own life.
Sure.
But are
So-
you guys do you have some
They're-
plan to tell these teachers or show these
They-
teachers what they're supposed to
Yeah,
comply
they've
with?
had meetings with the administration to talk about practices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Immediately, I mean,
Yes,
like
immediately, right.
we started the conversation over the summer
Mhm.
about even opening with not masking, like,
Okay.
is there, like, we had like 6 scenarios.
Who do
going.
parents talk to or
They
children
should-
talk to if teachers are being
I think
abruptly.
They should talk to the principal. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot easier for it to be dealt with at that level more quickly
Okay.
than.
Yeah, he seems to be a good guy.
He is. Yep.
He's
Here?
not
Yeah,
one-sided.
he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like Mr. Roberts, but
Yeah.
Yes.
without the funny additive, you know.
Yeah.
Got that done. Oh, is there a way that parents can ask or the school board can set up, instead of virtual, because virtual is just like a mask mandated meeting between, like how they used to have the parents and the teachers and the administration all talking, like
Like the open house.
like an open house type thing, so we could talk about this, because other people have questions, but they're in the dark. Some don't know about my site, some don't know who to ask, and some are just afraid. But when they're around others and they see, they come out of their shell. Is there a way that the school can set up like an assembly? It can be distance. I mean, it could be 2-3 different days for different grade levels, but to get everybody on the same page so that parents aren't angered and angry and in the dark, because we all want to know and we all have questions, and we can't all put it all through me, because I'm going to lose my mind if I.
So Mr. Dufort, the principal, has had a couple of sessions, meet and greet kind of sessions, being the new principal. So he has met with some families and some parents, and they've talked through any kind of questions, typical questions that they have. We do have open house. Is it tonight?
I think it's tonight.
Yeah, because like the board meeting, you can speak for 3 minutes, but you can't ask a bunch of questions, you know, and they cut you off, and then when they say they're done, and you have to comply with that, or there's police officers there that can escort you out, because this is private property, which is weird, but I understand, because I was explained why it is the way it is.
I
But
guess my question for you would be back to, it goes back to the school a lot of times. Like if there are particular questions about, like you said, if some teachers are responding differently than others, it should start at the school level. It
Okay.
should start with the principal.
could we at least try and have a virtual where there can be questions asked, either typed in or whatnot? I understand it might take a while, but you have no idea the amount of frustration and there's a lot of people in the dark, and they want their questions answered, and it would be better for the school board, and it would be less stressful for them and for the parents as well if these questions were answered. Is there a way that the school can take some time out of their lives to do something like that, whether it be 2 grades per day for 2 hours each day, for a week, to get everything out for each grade so that parents can know and have something sent home and set up? Because how many parents in this? Probably 1,500. Where there's like 3,000 something
Yeah, there's
students.
yeah,
So
6,000.
there's more than that, like 6,000.
yeah, so I don't know.
I guess my question to you is, what are they in the dark about? Like, is there something?
Well, they
that
have
we can help-
questions. They have personal questions, specific questions. Like this is just a handful. This is only off of 100 people. And only some of them asked. You know, not it was like 10 of them asked out of 100, which
Right.
is a small amount, because people have working lives and this and that, and some people are just scared to talk about it. They don't want to be shunned. But if everybody's asking, then they shouldn't be. They're not going to be. They're not going to feel like they're out of place and they're doing the wrong thing. No, if the school says, let's have a meeting, let's talk about this, so nobody's in the dark, I believe people will ask the questions that need to be asked. There's just, I can't ask all the questions because I don't know all the questions.
So,
Um,
I'm trying to think about how to, like, I understand what you're asking for, and it's just the management of it is, what we need to think about, like how to.
Well, can we do it like we did with the teachers? Like I had it was probably a room of, I can't remember the amount of, but there was the teachers and the parents
Yeah.
for each, like, Falcons and stuff
So
like
it's a
that.
parent conference.
Yeah.
There's a parent
I-
conference.
If it needs to be broke down to smaller
Yeah.
things like that, can that be
Can
done?
we think about this? Like, give us some time to
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
not I understand what you're asking for, and I have to be honest with you. As many folks that you feel are in your camp, there are as many people
right.
who are totally not in your camp, and then there's a whole group
Right.
of people who don't really care and just want to get
Yeah.
kids to school. So it's like. It's
Well, the
hard
way
to-
I see it though is
Yeah.
those people that don't think that people should have the choice. Have they come here? Have they talked like I'm talking? Are they
Yeah, I mean,
trying
they-
to fight back?
Early, I mean, you saw some people at the board meeting.
Yeah, at the board meeting, but I mean now that it's implemented.
We're getting feedback on all ends.
Yeah.
On all
Oh, I know
sides.
you're
All
getting
the
blown
time.
up.
Yeah.
But the principal's not getting blown up, and I've been telling people you need to ask the principal too, because if they're getting overrun, your questions aren't gonna be answered right away. If not, they're gonna be missed. If you can email everybody in the chain of command, you're gonna get a response from somebody. But people, like I said, they're afraid. They don't want their kid to be, singled out. And it happens. They can't say it doesn't happen. They said that at the meeting, that it doesn't happen. That's bull. It happens. Maybe in their mind, they wouldn't do it. But there are teachers and there are people that are they'll take it out on anybody, because they think they're right, It's just how it goes. We can't say every human is perfect.
No.
Okay, so I'll just tell the parents that you guys are working on something, and
We're thinking about the management of
Yeah,
that, and
how
how to
to-
coordinate.
is there a specific time? I mean, like a time limit, so I'm not waiting all year.
I mean, we can get back to you within a week. I
Yeah.
Okay,
We just need to
awesome.
think about it. and-
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Sorry, we're almost done here. I had a person ask, who's teaching CRT?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Critical race theory is
Yeah, we
not,
don't
it's
teach
not a
critical
concept
race
we
theory.
teach in school.
Okay. I had another one ask, why are gay pride flags being flown or hung up in school when that's teaching one side of gender orientation compared to regular orientation? Like, what makes gay people more important than regular people? Not regular, you know what I mean?
No, I get it.
People who are
Yeah.
asexual, whatever, men with women, women with women, men with men, what makes them better than us? I say us because I'm not gay.
So,
We understand.
yeah, we understand.
Yeah.
Why is it being
So
flown
diversity
like
is
pride?
diversity is something that we definitely talk about and, talk with everybody, but, I don't, is there a flag that's not being flown?
Well, I mean, like, if we're gonna fly every flag that in the room besides gay pride, I
Yeah.
mean, we'd have hundreds of flags in there,
Yeah.
so why are we, besides the American flag,
Yeah.
why are other flags being put up in the rooms? Because some people believe that's unfair, and they have them in some of the rooms because some of the kids have notified the parents,
Yeah.
and why are we doing one orientation instead of all orientations? It's just like Black Lives Matter. People believe that all lives matter, but why fly a Black Lives Matter when all lives matter? Where's that flag? Where's the American flag? Where's the gay flag? Where you know what I mean? There's all
So-
types of flags.
That's a big question.
It is. It's a tough one.
It's also a bigger question. It's like I think you're getting, they're using you, Mr. Pelletier, as the conduit of all,
Some of these are going to be actually asked at the next meeting next week.
yeah.
In the board meeting, but they asked me if I could just
Sure.
relay it because
So,
it's,
but that the mask mandate is one thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then you're talking, now, this is a
yeah, this is a
whole
different thing.
critical
You don't
race
have to
theory-
answer it here, but
No.
he's going to ask it at the meeting.
Yeah, so critical race theory is a whole separate thing, which we don't do, but it's become this hotbed issue.
Oh, you have no idea.
That really doesn't impact us, but people are trying to think that it does. It's really interesting that way. So but anyways, that's that. And then there's a whole other piece that's really about right, diversity, equity.
Right,
and that kind of
where
stuff.
you guys, as a school, are
Yeah.
saying you don't push that on people, but some of these teachers are
Have it,
taking
yeah.
upon
So, yeah,
themselves to
so
do it.
We might even just need to, honestly, that's gonna be that's almost a legal question. Like, we're gonna have to like figure that out in a way that is appropriate for.
I mean,
for
I
everybody.
I would think the only flag that should be flown is the American flag. You know, the only flag in a room at a school should be that. Off the school property or whatnot, people can do whatever they want, but
Right.
as a public and not taking any sides, I believe the American flag should be the only one that's flown because this is America. This is America stands for everything, freedom, you name it. Freedom number one,
Right.
freedom to be whoever you want to be, not just gay,
Right.
which is hanging a flag for gay. It's just for gay people. What about everybody else? You know what I mean? That's one thing.
This is like the biggest topic in America right now.
Yeah.
It's
Well, like the Black Lives Matter, they just disappeared. That's a big topic too, because all of a sudden they don't care anymore. They stopped.
Well,
And it's
I think it's actually melded into this diversity and equity piece. I think it's become like, and we can talk forever. But
yeah, I know.
I think it's moved from that particular moment to more stuff.
Oh, that sucks. There's not even a clock in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's up on the door. Yeah.
9:30. Okay, I got about 15 minutes and I gotta go to another meeting. Ugh. The stuff I do for people. Okay, people have a question about remote learning. It says remote learning isn't an option like it was last year, and why emails aren't being returned about the issue. That was us.
This particular person, and we're working with her.
Yeah, it is a her. Okay.
And I would say that there's been a lot of conversation with this particular parent.
Yeah.
And we will continue to have
I
conversations.
think there's something about a health issue with their child where.
Yeah, it's sometimes you don't always get the answer you want, so we keep asking. But
Yeah.
it's just we're not providing that remote.
See, now you know I'm not making this stuff up.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
actual
that's
parents
right.
asking these
But,
questions.
So these are things though that we're not going to duplicate last year because we're hoping to be in school. So that's
Nor can we duplicate last year,
No, we
because we
really
had
can't.
some students remote, some in person,
Yeah,
to balance
yeah.
that off. So the way that we were providing.
And I understand him,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you guys having full days because
Yeah.
Right,
my son
remember?
came here
Yeah,
in the
remember?
99 percentile. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, they're like,
Right.
he needs to go to summer
Right.
school because he's
Right.
behind.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
But that's what you do to a kid. That's what happens to a kid who's ADHD that needs to learn in person.
Right.
And then if they're at home, they get off task.
How's he been doing? I mean, it's only been a few
He's
days. I
still
know,
the
but
same
he's-
Tyler.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I
you
mean,
know,
like,
it-
is he adjusting to being back full time and?
Yeah, he likes it, but he's
Okay.
like one of the other kids where they want to wear the mask so they can be back at school because they fear that if they talk out about wearing the mask that they're going to be put into a subject where people are going to throw hate at them because you're not wearing a mask. It's just like it used to be if you were gay you got shunned upon. They don't want to be shunned upon, so they comply and they're scared, but a lot of the kids don't understand that they can speak out about it, that they have their own, because they're just turning into teenagers.
Exactly.
They're used to listening to their parents 100%, and now that they're their own person, they don't know what to do. And some parents, the way that a lot of parents are today, they let their kids raise themselves, and then so the kid doesn't learn the values of being your own person and being able to speak out. Because Tyler's kind of like that. He's a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I was a big people pleaser before I went in the Marine Corps. After that, I was outspoken. Nobody's going to tell me that I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, I'm going to admit to it. But I want to have a voice. He's just starting to get his voice. So I'm trying my best with him, and I told him if somebody's doing something wrong at school, a teacher, a student, or a subject that's going on, tell me,
Yeah.
so we can talk about it, and then we can both approach it. Because like I said, you see it on the news all the time. Some teachers are saying white people have supremacy over black people, and it's wrong, and this and that, and it's like, wait, you know what I mean? Why are you teaching that? That's not the truth. There's no facts about that. You're just teaching what you think. That's not how it goes. You're supposed to be teaching history or math, not your political views, you know? So it does happen. And as parents, we're supposed to react to that if it's happening. So I figured I'd over-explain it here.
Okay.
Besides a board meeting, is there a way to get parents or just me to be able to talk to them about
Board, it's public.
decisions?
Yeah, it's public input.
It has to be
Yeah,
a public meeting?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I'd like other people. I told people I was coming today. They should have came. I was hoping some other people would show up to talk.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, not, I told them if you come here, I'll
No,
remove you
that
myself.
would've been fine. It really is.
And I know which ones are which because I have them on here and I know where they stand. If they're gonna come here to act up, then I would have
Yeah.
removed them.
I appreciate that, because it's not.
Yeah. Oh, I ain't afraid. You
Yeah.
start acting up in my school, my kid's here, I can protect my child.
Yeah.
That's the law. I
Well,
can,
that's the piece that we're really trying to maintain is like,
peace.
this should be a very civil conversation,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't have to be,
Oh,
difficult.
this is a good one right here. This is one of my last ones. The school board and superintendent, if the governor was to choose to mask mandate forever, are you guys allowed to fight back or change your mask mandate to what, or the mandate to what you want and not what they require? Or are you willing to if you lose funds?
So, if the governor of the state of Maine is and has the authority, which she doesn't right now, but has the authority to, like, goes into emergency piece and they can do the mask mandate, we really can't fight that. That's not something that we can do locally.
So only on an emergency
It
you
has
have
be
to
emergency.
follow.
Yeah.
And that was all last year.
Yeah, so
Last
all
year
of
it was
last year,
all an
you know,
emergency.
up until
July
1st.
1st.
Yeah.
July 1st, it ended,
Yeah.
the state of emergency.
So as of right now, if the school board decided not to
Mm-hmm.
comply with it, it wouldn't be breaking the law or.
There's no mask mandate
Right.
statewide right now. It is
There's
all-
no mask
it's
mandate
all
statewide.
local control. It's all local control. So it's fighting, it's basically trying to make decisions in the best interest of the health and safety of kids. That's what the goal is. And that's why it's been so
Difficult.
kind of
Yeah.
difficult, you know?
Okay, so then since there's no mandate, why is it if a child gets sick, let's say, but isn't hospitalized, isn't dying, or doesn't die? Why is it 10 days? Why is there like a limit of how many days they have to go home and?
Oh, well, we
and-
still follow we still have what they call.
Standard
Yeah,
operating
standard
procedures.
operating procedures, you know that stuff from the military.
Yeah.
That we have to follow through the Department of Education based on, and that they work in
Positive
conjunction with the
cases.
Department of Human Services and CDC.
You have to
So-
follow the
The
guidelines of
SOP,
the
Yeah.
Standard operating procedures.
So it's a combination together of the DOE, Department of Human Services, and they rely on the CDC, basically, to develop those. So we follow those. Those are our,
Okay.
our directions. So
Now you 100% have to follow. You can't just be like,
yeah.
oh, okay, 2 days, you know, and
And if you have to think about it for a second, if we did just, say, yeah, but, or what, it's okay for you.
And then people
but
started
we do it
dying,
for
you could
another-
get
know,
sued.
it's kind of like mass chaos if we don't follow, just like the military, if they don't follow your standard operating procedure, things happen, right? And
Yeah.
they don't do it, but.
and then if you talk out, you get court-martialed.
Right.
I'm
You
just
can't do
kidding.
that.
Well, it did happen just recently, but that's the government.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, so for us, it's honestly structure. It's like, and when you have a system, like just even SAD60 is a pretty big system, you need to follow practices
Right.
within the system, and we follow the practices within the state of Maine.
Okay, so I don't remember if this was answered, but when is enough? Like when is this going to be? COVID's going to be around forever, and so is the flu, and so is every other disease in the world. When is it going to be made? There's not going to be a cure.
Right.
There's going to even the vaccine is only lessons. At first, they made it seem like it was the cure,
Yeah.
And then people started getting
Reality.
sick, and they're like, "Oh crap! Well, we got to change our story now."
Yeah.
You see how that works. You see
Well, I
the
think
gray area, and then they have to fix it. Well, since this is gonna, where's the science behind what you're gonna do for the future if
So-
people are gonna keep getting sick?
honestly, what I would say to you is, going back to, in the beginning, we talked about we've learned things from last year to this year, and we've implemented things, and we're gonna keep, hopefully, everybody is gonna keep learning more about this disease and what is happening and the pandemic, and then moving ahead. I can't say there's a magic, we have a
Oh, so
crystal ball.
inevitably they're gonna be like, people get sick, so people get sick.
Well-
That's God's choice there. Well, some people don't believe in God, but
Yeah.
that's nature's choice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to acting like it's just like the flu, where they're not gonna go crazy. Oh my God, COVID,
Well,
flu,
I mean, do you remember
syphilis.
N1.
the N1, what is it, H1N1?
H1N1.
Virus that was here
Yeah.
7 years
Yep,
ago?
7 years
Yeah.
ago.
I mean, it was a big deal. They didn't get to this level, but there was a lot of
Yeah, what was
mass-
SARS? SARS has a 15% kill rate.
Yeah.
They didn't go crazy about it.
Yeah.
I think this has been politicized above and beyond what I've never seen on a level like this. It's been over politicized. And if you guys didn't know this, China last year was the only country in the world that went positive in GDP. They made $21 trillion while everybody else went negative. So
Yeah.
people aren't, oh man, you see about the political.
Yeah.
So inevitably somebody's going to get smart and say enough with the BS. Well,
Right.
that's probably what it's going to be, because I don't think another Democrat's going to get into office in 3 years, not with what they're doing. But that's just an opinion, anyways.
Yeah.
But what I'm, okay, so that.
I wish we had better answers for you. I feel
No,
like
these
they're
are
just-
good.
you know, they're not
I'm all over the place.
There's no final answer. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's no final answer.
Can't lock it in.
No. Final answer.
Working on that. So ask at board meeting. This is the flag one.
Okay.
What happened? Oh, did you guys take away history class?
No. There's
What about
something-
social studies?
Social studies, there's one grade level that doesn't have, like, at the high school, is it your freshman year?
Ninth grade.
Ninth grade doesn't, because we have double reading. Reading
But
and
that's
writing.
been long
Then that's
standing.
been forever,
That
yeah,
has
we've
not
had
been
that
a
for the
recent-
past, I don't know,
Yeah.
10 years.
You said double what? Reading?
Reading and writing. So ELA, English Language Arts, gets split into two, and they have a reading, one full class of reading, one full class of writing. So the reason for that is that there's only a 3-year requirement for social studies.
Yeah.
And actually in the state of Maine, it's only a 2-year requirement, but
Yeah.
we do 3 years.
Yeah.
So they just took freshman year to kind of
No, I understand.
bolster everybody that
It's just
way.
like college.
Yeah, exactly.
You have electives and a
Yeah,
certain amount that you have
exactly.
to
So
do.
social studies, we have a 3-year requirement.
All right. That's it.
Okay.
I appreciate it. I mean, I didn't come here to yell at you guys. I just came here to ask
We
questions.
showed you that too.
Oh, I'm sure. I know it would be pointless. It'd be like hitting
Well, I
a
mean,
wall,
it's-
because you guys are pretty much at a standstill. You can't do much past help the children and speak for the children at the school level, not national level or parent level. That's where the parents fight.
Our goal in life is to not be political. It's
Yeah,
really
it
just
is
to
so
be-
hard though.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
it
It's
used,
hard.
I miss the old days. Like I told people when I was coming to high school here at this school when it
Yeah.
first opened.
Yeah.
I said I love the school. The school was being run great. We had in-school suspension, everything, you know. And it's just like everybody's gotten so soft, and everything hurts everybody's feelings, and it's like,
We still have in-school suspension.
oh, you do?
Yes.
That's awesome. Like it,
Yeah.
love it.
And we have